Hi, welcome to the Urban Schoolhouse, where school is cool. This is Ebony Wysinger checking in.
And Chelsea Wysinger.
And we are going to be discussing a new cell phone policy.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know. I'm worried.
I'm not.
I'm worried. I'm worried for us all.
Well, okay. So, as you guys know, if you've been listening along, so we are in the state of Michigan, the Great Lakes state, and today our governor, Gretchen Whitmer,
Big Gretch,
passed a bill for the 2026-2027 school year for a cell phone ban in classrooms. So that will be impacting every public K through 12 school.
Hold on while I applaud. Okay.
Confetti. So we just thought we'd talk about the pros and the cons and just the impact of long-term cell phone use, technology use, period, that we've seen in schools and how has it evolved. And I can also touch on, with my age, I was born 2001, so I feel like I was born when technology was really becoming a thing.
Yeah,
and you were on the cusp, and I really got to see it evolve as I grew up. So yeah. So first
we have a lot to say about this.
Yeah. Some of y'all might be mad.
I hope y'all don't get mad.
Some of y'all might be mad.
Please don't be
think
mad.
folks are gonna be mad.
Don't be mad.
But it's the truth.
Be open-minded and hear the intention of what we're trying to say. We're not trying to take away the fun times.
There's definitely so many reasons for this, and I think if you ever worked in a school, stepped foot in a school, I think you would agree.
All right. So let's get cracking. So why don't you tell us what the policy is exactly?
Cell phones are banned.
Period.
Like, they have to be banned in the classrooms, but it's really up to the school district's discretion on how they want to go about it. And districts are allowed to make their policy stricter. It's up to them about the consequences, things like that. But she's like, I don't care how you do it, basically, but just get it done.
I don't know about that, though. I like procedures.
You want it to be detailed?
I do.
Like, every district does the same thing.
It should be that way so that when kids move from district to district, they don't have to get used to a different cell phone policy. Since it's a Michigan state policy, it should be,
but I don't know,
consistent from school to school.
I mean, I guess, but also, student bodies aren't the same. Right?
That's true, but no cell phones means no cell phones. That's the same. So
right, but how to go about it in a way that makes sense to your school climate.
Okay, well, why don't you talk about the school that you mentioned to me earlier? How did they go about it?
Oh, so I had read an article, I believe it was in a school in Maryland, and basically I don't remember the grades of the school, but the students would put their phones in their backpacks, and they would put their backpacks in the front of the room. And if the student was caught with their cell phone, it was no debate, no discussion. They automatically got an in-school suspension. And the school put daily announcements, daily reminders every single day. There were signs. It was warnings before, so nobody can say they didn't know that this was the policy. So it's just automatic in-school suspension.
I don't want to be negative, so I'm just going to say okay. Because all those things are usually implemented. So, okay. So let's talk about some pros and cons of this. So I'm not a big fan of the cell phones at school. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not a big fan of that. And I hope that doesn't upset people, but I know for a fact that one pro of not having cell phones inside the classroom is definitely more attention students will pay to learning. And I really believe that that's the most important thing that we come to school for. So why not set the phones aside and focus on the learning? I think they'll pay more attention to the lessons. I think they'll be more devoted to doing classwork and just more engaged overall with asking questions and providing insight inside the classroom.
I think also more genuine relationships with their peers. I think more genuine relationships with their peers, 100%.
So what you mean by that?
I feel like everything is so over the phone now, like it's, I think with technology, you've kind of lost the art of actually interacting with people, like in person and stuff. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of kids these days don't have the same level of social skills that we do, because growing up we had to interact with people face to face. We had to, like, they can sit on their phone, they can kind of hide behind a screen.
Exactly.
And so I think the rise, and I think people call Gen Alpha like the anxious generation. Well, I think that's part of the reason, because they can just hide behind their phones a lot of the time for a lot of different stuff. So I think that's one thing for sure.
For sure. All right. So we talked about
and less drama.
Less drama. Definitely.
I think that goes into the genuine. Yeah,
I'll take that one.
Okay.
Okay, so historically, like I was explaining to Chelsea, we do our little pre-talks, and I was explaining to her that in my life, historically, the phone has been the source of tremendous drama as a child, especially around middle school, where, that middle school drama kicks in. And I remember often being told on the phone attached to the wall in the kitchen to get off the phone and stop gossiping, or stop talking about people, or stop talking out of turn, or something to that effect. And it's evolved to be a phone in every child's pocket, in every school. And what that does is it puts the communication right in their hands. And so now they're talking about people at school, sending nasty messages, sometimes memes, sometimes photos, sending videos, taking videos of people.
Of other people.
Yes, and they don't know they're being filmed or having photos taken of them. When fights break out, they're automatically taking out their phones, running to the fight so that they can produce the next video of a fight. And it's such an overwhelming task for a school personnel.
I gotta interject.
I
gotta interject.
It's overwhelming.
Because, what used to be the trend when I was in middle school? So people would create anonymous accounts and post their classmates. And they would do like a TBH, which stood for to be honest, and then a rate, and then like a rate and date, like rate you 1 through 10 or 1 out of 10, and then like would I date you, yes or no? But you even know who this person is.
Oh, it's like so, rate or date.
Yeah, okay. Like rate and date.
Oh,
like,
rate and date. Okay.
Yeah, and so people really do that. People would like, and we would participate. Like people would like DM photos of ourselves to this account so they can post it on the thing.
You did that?
Probably. I probably did. So people would do that all the time. I'm
shaking my head.
They would do like matchmaker, like in middle school, it'd be like, middle school matchmaker, and it would put 2 random people in your grade together.
But did it ever lead to drama?
I think, yeah. Like,
exactly.
But that's the thing, like, it was anonymous. People are posting their opinions of you, and you don't know who it is. It could be really mean, and the whole school or the whole grade.
And all of this is happening while you're in school?
Yeah. And
you're watching and listening while you're in school?
Yeah, people will talk about
it. And see, doesn't it affect your mood when you're in school?
Yeah, middle school sucks anyway.
Definitely.
And when you add technology into it.
So that's a con in my eyes. Honestly, I just feel that the phones never had a place in school. And for anybody who talks about, well, we have to keep up with our kids and this, that, and the same. Listen, half of the parents don't keep up with their kids when their kids not at school. Let's talk about it.
Ooh,
I'm so sorry.
We didn't even get to referrals yet, child.
I know. But I'm just saying, Our families didn't need phones to keep up with us when we were in school. What happened to call the main office? What happened to call the principal? What happened to those things? Call the teacher. Why do you have to ring a phone in a child's pocket like they are a doctor or a lawyer? They don't need a phone. I used to have a pager, and my mother used to say, "You don't need no pager. Are you a doctor?"
Nah.
We had pagers.
No, so that's before my time.
I'm telling my age, and we definitely had pagers.
But also the referrals.
They're going to be off the charts.
The discipline, the punishment, it's going to rise.
It will rise.
It's going to rise.
And
no district wants that.
Not only that, before the punishment ensues, let's talk about the anger of the child when you take a phone. And the systemic problem that starts when a child is, 2, 3, with a phone in their hand.
That can be a whole episode within itself.
And then by the time they're in middle school, you have to pry it out their hands and they'll kill you over it. Literally.
I love this topic.
I do not.
I do, because I just think it's so interesting, because I'm around kids all the time, and then I'm also a server at a restaurant, and I tell my mom all the time, like, the amount of families I see where the adults are engaging, but the baby, like, I've seen literal, like, newborn, like, infants, like, 6 months old, and then the parents just prop a cell phone up and they're not engaging with that child whatsoever. And that's actually a perfect opportunity to, because Absolutely. We're out in the world and, you know.
So many new things to learn.
And I think that kind of goes into people underestimating how smart babies are. You probably think, oh, it's not time yet. But no, look up any research ever. The earlier you start doing things, the better. And children, babies, are incredibly smart. So that's where I think that comes from.
Yes, and then they'll start to just ask and defer to this
right, but that's what I'm saying.
It's they can't think of anything else to do.
And that's why I have parents now that get upset with their child's phone use, and I sympathize. Sorrows, prayers.
No.
However, right, it's like, who gave them the phone?
Exactly. Not even before they had a phone. They were using your phone. Kids think that phones are toys. Kids ask me all the time, can I play with your phone?
Yeah, all the time.
No.
I bet kids, like, if my phone is on my desk, even before I got my job, when I was at my internship, I had my phone next to my computer. Kids would pick up my phone all the time and say, like, can I play on it? Do you have games? No. But back to what I was saying, you gave them the phone, and then even parents, I think parents get tricked by, like, YouTube Kids or whatever kids, but that's inappropriate too, because talking to my students, again, I work with K through 5, talking to my students, whoever's created these videos, they are, like, manipulating these children, because they'll say, if you don't subscribe to my channel, something will happen to your mom, or if you love your dad, subscribe. Like, they're doing stuff where kids don't know reality from, like, a hypothetical, so they're, doing whatever. It's like, so even the stuff that's aimed for kids is still really not the best. Do you remember
that one year that it was supposed to be this ugly thing that appeared on the screen when the kids, I can't remember, I think it was called Moo Moo. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay,
so it might have been before my time on that thing. And then when you take it away and they're having meltdowns, you're confused and you want to blame the child. It's not the child's fault. You have taught the child that a screen is a regulation tool, that a screen is a coping mechanism. So when you take what's giving them dopamine, when you take that away, they don't know how to regulate themselves. And multiple studies have shown that when you take a phone, tablet, whatever, away from a child, they have withdrawal symptoms in the same way that adults or whoever may have withdrawals from drugs or substances.
Which is just terrible.
So their brain is reacting in the same way. And that's why they are so
angry when the phones are taken away from them.
Right, so their brain is reacting in the same way because that screen gives them a rush of happy. And then it's the same thing with substances. So you take it away, their brain's like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Okay then, so since you work at the restaurant, what would you like to see children doing at the table?
Interacting with adults. I said
basically talking, learning the art of conversation.
And then most restaurants, like where I work, it's a family restaurant. You know, we have kid menus and there's games on the menus. Yeah. You know, like play the games with your children.
And if they don't have games, you can just do a tic-tac-toe board. Hashtag.
Yeah, or bring games.
I mean, and plus you could just make a word. Listen, if you are into engaging your kid, just whatever you can do, make a game out of whatever. Find the things that are red, find the things that are purple. Make a long word like knowledge, and then make all the words that you can make out of that word, or or read
the menu.
Not read the menu.
It's practice.
Kids can bring their little storybooks with them.
Yeah,
while they wait for them.
I have had children bring books. And I was really shocked. It was like these two, maybe like 7-8 year old kids. They had books. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, like you don't see kids with books anymore. We used to carry books around with us, especially like when your preteen years, we used to read these books called Sweet Valley High. And I know you used to love Junie B. Jones. And so every generation has books that, they love to read, but not these kids because
they're reading books way below their grade level.
And they don't even read well, y'all. No. They don't read well. They don't spell well. Also, and they don't write well.
We're not even going to get into how phones severely impact their attention span, which goes into school.
Shaking my head.
Right? Which goes into school.
Shaking my head.
And also the fact that whatever you want to know, you can pull it up in an instant. So the critical thinking, the let me figure this out on my own. I've learned that there's so much learned helplessness in kids.
Chelsea called this the literacy crisis.
It is a literacy crisis. The people, like researchers, have named it that. Where it's an entire generation of kids. Basically, yes.
I'm telling you, they can't do the basic things that kids used to be able to do with no problem, like tell time. I always go back to that. It's amazing to me how kids cannot tell time. They cannot write in cursive. We do not teach you.
It's right. Like the curriculum has changed. I have a theory about the cursive writing. I don't know if we want to go there.
But how do you make a signature without cursive writing?
I don't know if you want to go there or not, but I have a theory.
I mean, you can make a signature with a mark, but why aren't we teaching it? Go ahead.
My theory is that I just think of where we're at in this world. I think it's a skill to learn how to read cursive, and a lot of historical documents are in cursive. So I think the fact that we aren't teaching children that anymore, it's so we won't be able to read historical things.
Oh.
And they kind of get forgotten.
Do you really think that?
I wouldn't put it past.
The old U.S. of A?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a theory.
It's a theory. Because what other reason is there?
I don't know.
I mean, think about all the history erasure in this country and where we're at right now. I mean, this is the perfect time to do it.
Students, not only can they not write in cursive, but when you ask them to sign something, they only write their first name. Have you noticed? Or you have to notice.
Well, they're not really signing much in elementary. But
right. But in middle school, they might have to sign something, and they only write their first name. And they leave their last name completely off. Because they're used to screen names.
The screen names, yeah. Or they'll be like, we were playing Fortnite, we were playing Minecraft, and so-and-so was mean to me on there. So-and-so could kick me out of the game.
So how you think the parents going to react to this? Let's talk about
They're going to be upset.
Let's talk about the parents, the mamas and the papas.
That people are giving them the addictive device.
I'm the pappy. I mean, for me as a parent, it was nothing to tell you cannot have a cell phone.
This is when they were still emerging, like the iPhone still.
But I could foresee, as a mom,
But also you've been in education too.
I had been in education too. But phones weren't there, okay? So we've all been in education because we've all been to school, right? So the phones weren't present when I was in education before you were born. They ushered themselves in right around the time that you were born. So for a minute in my career, we didn't have the cell phone crisis.
At all.
At all. The cell phones didn't really become a crisis until school shootings. That's when parents started feeling connected to the cell phone. Going to the schoolhouse.
That's their main argument.
But it don't save lives, though. Are you going to put the cell phone up and stop the bullet? I don't know. Only thing that a cell phone can do, in my opinion, in a crisis, emergency, active shooter situation, is maybe that you can call and say goodbye. Or,
well, let me play devil's advocate.
This is happening.
Let me play devil's advocate. So, let's say you're at work, I'm at school, I don't have access to a phone. You find out that there's a shooter in my school. I don't have a phone, and you're a parent. How would you feel?
I would feel bad, like any parent would, but I would have to know and trust that whatever is going on in that school is going to do what it does to protect you. And I am not going to be able to go in. So I am going to have to, at some point you just have to let your surrender go and trust God. If it's an active shooter inside of a building, no one's going to allow me inside of the building. And if I got inside of the building, I don't know where you are. And even if I got inside of the building, I might get shot. You might be fine. Mm-hmm. If I'm not looking. So the bottom line is you have to be able to trust not only the school, but honestly, wherever you are could turn into an active shooter situation. It was people at work on 9/11 and a whole plane came crashing through their building. So you have to learn that
can happen anywhere.
It can happen.
Unfortunately,
it can happen anywhere.
That's the.
And you have to learn how to put trust in, I don't want to say in the universe, I'm going to say in God. Because that's what I put my trust in. But, to each his own.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you sending your kid to a schoolhouse every day. You don't know what's going to happen there. And you can't control it. They're all locked now. Schools used to be where you could just walk right in. They're locked. So what are you going to do? No one's going to let you in. If it's an active shooter, you calling the phone, you scaring your child. I don't know. I just don't see the benefit.
My also argument is if your child is hiding, you call them, you could just expose
that
them.
part.
You could just
all
you
of
could
that.
Just give your kid away.
Exactly. When a kid might be hiding somewhere safe and secure, and now here you go calling.
And it's so unfortunate, but trust, staff members are trained. When I was in high school, the whole school, all of us, we had a whole day where we just did active shooter training, so we knew what to do. And when you're in high school, you have different classrooms. So each teacher, based off of where their classroom was, they had multiple different plans. I had one classroom that was right, like there was a window and the roof was right there. And my teacher was like, we're going out and we're jumping off the roof. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'd rather you guys have a broken bone than be dead. Exactly. So we're jumping. Right. And she was being so dead serious. Yeah. She was like, we're not staying here. We're getting out. Yeah. So,
when it comes down to it, that's life or death. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So it's every teacher I had, they had a plan of what to do. So, unfortunately, but it's these schools have plans. They have protocols for this.
Exactly.
Just
like fights, just like fires, just like any other catastrophe.
Literally everything. There's a protocol for any and everything.
Tornadoes. What do you do if it's a bad storm outside and your child is on lockdown at school? It's nothing you can do.
Yeah. And honestly, the protocol should be public on the district's website. And if not, you can
always ask. Yeah. They'll give you a copy. Mm-hmm. But regardless, it still is going to put you in a position where you have zero control. I hate to say that.
But that's the truth.
It's
not like you can pull up and be like, I'm here to get my kid.
Right.
Here's an active
I'm going to need that early dismissal.
With AR-15. Yeah. Yeah, come on in, man. Yeah. No.
I got a 5th grader and a 6th grader. You need to run them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work like that. So,
no, unfortunately not. No.
I just would like to say as a parent that I put you in schools where I felt you were safe, and I just encourage other people to do the same thing. Honestly, Sandy Hook should have been a safe school, and
That's the thing. I mean, we're talking urban schools. This doesn't really happen in urban schools.
It doesn't. It happens in very
affluent areas.
Yeah. Generally, like Oxford, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another a huge Michigan story. But I was looking at comments on the post about the news today, and people were saying they would rather ban cell phones than have stricter gun laws. And I'm like, well, we should have both.
Right. Why not? I like it. They go hand in hand.
Right. Why it gotta be one or the other? It should be both,
right.
Actually.
Let's just tighten our ship as a whole.
Right, because I feel like kind of what we've been saying, the cell phones and the literacy is separate from the guns. Like, they're both bad.
They are. And they're both harming our children at alarming rates. And I just wish that one thing can come of this is that parents realize that we educators are dependent on them to adopt the same mindset about cell phones and to keep them out of the classroom and allow their children to have a chance to learn and become something in this world. And I just really mean that from the bottom of my heart. You know, I don't think that they should be in schools, and I don't think they ever should have been.
And it's so much with kids holding cell phones nowadays. Going back to their handwriting, the fine motor. So fine motor is small. You know, kids don't have those skills anymore because we're not really using pencils and paper in school. It's more so screens and typing and using phones. So the finger movements, the finger dexterity, children are not achieving that milestone as they should be. And that's impacting their handwriting. So just so you know, if your child kind of has questionable handwriting, maybe look at how they're grasping a pencil. It probably starts from there. Look at how much they're using an iPad, or they're just scrolling and not really using their fingers to their potential.
And I just feel like when they have these devices in their hands, they're not doing their work to their fullest potential either. Because, honey child, if I had ChatGPT when I was in middle school, my whole life would have been different.
I saw a tweet that was like, earning a college degree before ChatGPT is like a badge of honor now.
Period. Because the way you can just make anything in 5 seconds, I don't even know how
I'm so anti-AI, but that's a different conversation.
I know.
But I will say
that got the phones, they're not.
Right, and districts aren't either.
No,
because
they're not.
My district is really pushing AI.
Yeah, mine is too.
I don't agree.
Our admin loves it.
I don't agree.
I know you don't, but that's a topic for another time.
AI is a whole different topic.
It is. But honestly, I love this topic for us today. I know I said I didn't like it, but I love that we're talking
right, y'all. She was trying to shut down my idea.
I wasn't trying to shut down the idea. It's just that it's such a sensitive topic, and some people are just so crazy about it, you know? And for me, it's simple. You know, it doesn't make sense.
I love what you said before the recording, where when I was a child, I was always with a trusted adult who had a means of communication.
For sure.
So I didn't need a means of communication.
So why are these kids...
Where y'all going?
Yeah. Who gonna take them? I don't know. Are your kids out here alone in these streets? Because why do they need so many phones?
Well, they need a means of communication. Okay, sure, but it don't gotta be an iPhone 18.
I mean, are they taking cabs and
They don't
Ubers?
need an iPhone.
Like, who picking your kids up?
Pro Max Ultra.
I just feel like kids need to stay in a kid's place. And you don't have no job, and you don't have no car, and you don't need no phone. That's just my opinion. You can't pay a car note. You can't pay a phone bill. So what do you need a phone for?
Exactly. Go get a book.
Read it. And then after you go to get a book and read it, then go write what you learned so that you can learn how to comprehend instead of this fast-paced technology screen.
It's too fast-paced. It's so...
That's why all the kids got
ADHD, ADD. All the acronyms.
All the letters. And I'm not downing anybody. Please don't get me wrong. If you have ADHD or if your child has ADHD, I'm not coming for you. I'm simply just saying the screens do not make it any better. It makes it worse.
There's a correlation. Correlation does not equal causation. But there is a correlation.
Yes, it is.
They are connected.
And I have seen even in elementary, I've seen some real bad meltdowns.
But I think that comes from
over phones and computers.
Phones, the instant gratification of phones, the addiction of phones, everything is just so fast paced,
and right at their fingertips. They don't have to work for anything.
Their tiny brains just cannot keep up. So when things are slow, when they have to work for things,
when they are asked to be seated and be quiet,
when they have to look stuff up
or be quiet,
it's like
because being quiet is a skill. Some kids cannot be quiet.
Oh yeah, kids so kids are just so antsy. Kids literally cannot sit still in a chair. Mm-mm. Which I think, okay, we're adapting with the times. I see a lot of flexible seating.
But you know what?
In my school.
Life doesn't always offer that flexibility. So why are we out here acclimating to whatever kids are going through?
But I fidgeted in school.
It's nothing wrong with fidgeting. But when you're told to sit down, you sit down. You can fidget in your seat with your fingers or what have you. But I'm talking about kids that can't sit down and kids that can't be quiet. That's a problem.
I saw a TikTok where the teacher she was playing a movie, and we used to love movie days.
They will not shut up.
No, and this one kid was like, "When is it gonna be over?"
Right,
it's a movie.
Exactly, but they don't have the attention span for a movie because they watch real quick videos.
Everything's quick, yeah.
That's how come for me, and call me old fashioned, but I am totally against the cell phones.
But what do you have to say when people are saying, "Well, the world is just technology based now"? So
it is,
shouldn't
but
kids
it is, but it's a time and a place for everything.
It's a time and a place.
And when you're at school, the time is to learn, and the place is school, and it should be respected. School used to be a respected institution, almost like church, right? You don't go to church and act a fool. We all know that. So it used to be you don't go to school and act a fool, but these kids do. And when they come in, they bring their Snapchat drama. They bring their text message group chat drama. And then all of a sudden it's my responsibility or other people's responsibility to deal with it. Just because of cell phones. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, you don't even need a cell phone. You don't even know how to behave.
In my mind.
All right, so I think we beat that horse. What you think?
I could go longer, but we're gonna cut it here.
We gonna need to cut it here, but I'm standing on business.
Yeah,
I think
stand on it.
I think that we are doing the right thing. We're doing our students a service, and I'm wondering what took us so long. Yeah, I mean, what we waiting for? Just like I told you, I have foresight to know that you having a cell phone wouldn't be good for you. Well, as other parents should maybe think about how cell phones can negatively impact their students while in school. Meanwhile, parents are calling their kids and texting their kids with drama from home. Mm-hmm. And the kid will come down to the office and say, "Oh, I just found out my dad's in the hospital." Well, how'd you find that out? My mom, she just texted me.
Why would you text that first? Anyway.
So, yeah. Do yourself and your kids a favor and just, try to separate them from the screens and acclimate them more to books.
Maybe just reevaluate. It's never too late. It sounds like substance abuse, but I'm like, you gotta wean them off.
Yeah. Dial it back
a little by little.
Until they find other hobbies.
Right. Go out and
that's the thing. You might have to take them somewhere.
So just try to wean them off and then introduce them to other hobbies and also find ways to implement literacy into the day. At least 15 to 30 minutes a day. And so I think that is all we have for today.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us again on the Urban Schoolhouse, where school is cool.